So here's my list. It's a working list. I'm grateful for number one, God, my salvation, my rock, my faith, my transformation, and God not giving up on me. And what I mean about that is, uh, for anyone who's curious about my story, I recently I've decided to think of it as like, well, God gave me an interesting testimony. That's a good way of saying I made a lot of mistakes. I got to a very dark place, and I kind of view what happened to me as the a little bit like the prodigal son story. And there's a verse that really resonates with me in the Bible about how God says, I think it's in there a few times, but he basically says, I will put my hook in your nose and my bit in your mouth, and I will steer you back on the path. And
You like that one.
some people, I love that verse because that's what had to happen to me. Some people were stubborn. I'm stubborn, and I had to be steered. I had to have the hook in my nose and the bit in my mouth. So, okay, number two. I'm very grateful for my church. I'm so grateful for this church that I found. It'll make me emotional. I love this church. So, when I think about I might move in the future or something, my first thought is losing this church community if I end up moving one day. It was weird. I tried a lot of different churches and a lot of different. I was at a spiritual center in LA for a while, and then I was going to a spiritual center out here. And then I tried. I was for a while. I went to a Catholic church that my friend took me to, which I really enjoyed, but it didn't really feel like home. And, I was going to a cowboy church, which I loved. I was going to an evangelical church, and I tried a lot. And the very first service they had, I ended up there by chance. I saw something about it online. And the first service, I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. And this preacher, I'm so grateful for my preacher and his wisdom. And he's a bit nerdy, which I love. And I don't mind his big words at all. He always defines them anyway. And just the whole community there. It's one of those places I would say I feel like it's a church that's alive and a real, like, really great people that I've met through there. So that's number two. Number three, I'm grateful for my fella and just finding someone who is so understanding and caring and loving and has had a lot of similar struggles to me and is so strong and growing and changing himself every day. He's a good man and becoming a better man, like, every day, and holds me accountable and makes me want to be a better version of myself. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay. It's good tears. But really makes me want to be the person that he thinks I am and be better. And I love that. Someone who's, like, hungry and is growing and always learning and improving himself. And okay, I'm grateful for my friends who are too many to name. I would leave someone out. Just really good friends who are supportive and wise and kind and have great advice and also are able to love you with correction when you need it, and not just give you validation for bad things and allow you to do bad things and ease your conscience about it, but will really tell you the truth. I love that. I'm very grateful for that, and especially recently, having a lot of great advice from friends. I'm very grateful for number 5 for my dog, Tiger. Of course I am. Of course I am. Tiger, look, it's like that Eckhart Tolle quote. He says that having a dog is a way for even the most unconscious person to experience unconditional love. And that's true. Your dog is always like, oh my God, you're home. You were gone for 10 minutes. It's awesome. You're home. I love my little dog. Number 6, I'm grateful for unsafe space. I'm grateful for you, Carter. who you went from being an acquaintance back when I worked in entertainment and you were in one of your various professions and startups and endeavors, and went from being a casual acquaintance to being one of my best friends and my brother, and sometimes give me very fatherly advice, and you're also honest with me. And I'm very grateful for this community, Unsafe Space. I'm grateful for all of you guys coming watching our show. And I think we have a very unique group of people who are able to have a lot of differences of opinion and still respect each other. We don't even need a moderator. I mean, I know we have moderators for fun, like Beverly and Chris and Keith the Hack Guy and Ninja Kitty, who helped us out for a while. And we've had a lot of but we don't even really need the mods. This is something Marie Buskey was saying to me. She was like, you have a really great community that you're forming because people kind of moderate themselves. Okay. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. That's always something to remind yourself, even if you're going through financial struggles, it's not as bad. Even when it gets bad, it could be so much worse. I'm very grateful for the roof over my head. Number 8, I'm grateful for God taking care of me financially and in other ways. And whenever things seem touch and go and spotty, it's always a test of my trust and faith, I've found. Number 9, I'm grateful for my father, who had a really great dad who is very, also has a hungry mind, and has always he gave me a great appreciation for books, for reading, for the outdoors, for hiking, for a lot of, and he's very kind. I'm grateful for my aunt who I used to argue with all the time and used to be so judgmental about what a Christian fundamentalist she was. And, when I was a social justice warrior, I gave her a lot of grief, and I'm very grateful for her. She is judgmental. She'd be the first to admit that. But she's very sincere in her beliefs. And I was at her house a couple years ago and staying there, and I went to open the closet in the guest room to put some clothes in there. And it was her prayer closet. And she had these lists on the wall with different people's names. There was one for me, and then all these little Post-it notes under my name and other people's names with different prayers for them. Wow. And I was so touched that,
very organized.
Yeah, that she would go in that closet and pray for people and add to the list, And I'm very grateful for number 10, the hard lessons. This is a good one. Since going on this journey, I would say my God journey or whatever, the past couple of years, it's given me a whole different way of looking at struggles and trials. And being able to look at whenever there's something that I'm struggling with or something that I feel is unjust or unfair, or, and you're tempted to be woe is me about it, there's always an opportunity in it somewhere. And I really believe, in my case, because I believe in God, I believe that it's God teaching me something. And sometimes that thing that God is teaching me is about other people or the outside world, but other times it is about me. Sometimes I can find something that's like, oh, you're supposed to be learning this thing about how to let go of things, or how to not depend on anyone above God, or how not to put your faith in these idols, or how maybe it's a lesson about ego or pride, or, whatever it is. What is that lesson that I can learn? And before I had faith in God, and even after, sometimes I've had to get the universe, if you're not a Christian, if you think of it, the universe has taught me the same lesson a few times before I get it. So I'm trying to get better at learning it the first time, so I don't have to go through those things. Okay, so anyway, thank you. I'm thankful for the hard lessons. Number 11, I'm thankful for the simple pleasures, for frivolity, for joy, peace, good food, music, the outdoors, growing things, just those little things that we tend to take for granted every day. I'm really grateful for the weather changing right now. Number 12, I'm grateful for my sobriety. It's been over a year. I never thought I would be sober for over a year. And I decided to try it as an experiment and see how, sort of like Jordan Peterson talks about, see where I'm at in a year. I'm in a much better place. So I'm going to try 5. It's been good. Number 13, I'm very grateful for my housemate, and who's one of my friends who's living with me now. And my previous housemate last year, my friend, or earlier this year, my other friend who came and lived with me for a while. I pick very good housemates. I do say so, if I do say so myself. And number 14 is my final one. I am very grateful, to have been born at this time in history and in this country with the rights that we have here. And all things considered, be joyful though you have considered all the facts. I have considered all things. I am still very grateful to have been born here and in this country. That's my list.
That's a pretty impressive
Done.
list, Keri. Someone in chat said, how's Carter going to follow up with this? I'm not going to try and follow up. That was an emotional, beautiful list of things that you're grateful for. And someone else, Pirate Tomsky says, my list is just, I'm grateful for true capitalism. Yeah, that's a good one, Pirate Tomsky. No, thank you for sharing. That was awesome. And it was clearly heartfelt.